There's strange behavior going on right here. This scrub jay just keeps calling over and over from the same perch. There's two scrub jays right there. Just one of them keeps calling over and over. Pretty close to the ground. I just came up to the branch the jay was calling from, and I spooked an animal, some kind of mammal that ran away. I didn't see what it was. I first tried to follow the trail a little ways where the animal ran to see if I could find any tracks, but I couldn't. The jays kept on calling from a little ways farther down the trail where the animal ran to. But I came back to the spot they were calling at first, and I looked at this little spot where it looked like the animal was probably bedded down under this sagebrush here. And I was looking around for hairs, because that's the other thing that maybe I could use to identify the animal that was here. When I was listening to the jay, I thought maybe there's a snake there, because snakes are coming out this time of year, but snakes don't run away. So then I was thinking, oh, maybe it's a bobcat, because bobcats do run away, and I have seen bobcats around here. But there's also foxes, and I've seen a brush rabbit here, so let's check out the hares and see what we find through some evidence. Also, I would expect jays to alarm at a bobcat and not at a brush rabbit. Well, sure enough, I found some little hairs on this twig. Here's the hair a little closer up on the twig, and I'll go put it under a microscope. I have a dissection microscope that I can use, and I also fortunately have a journal, a tracking journal, where I've saved different hair samples from different animals so I can compare. Here it is under a microscope, one of the little hairs, and another one here, kind of wavy, kind of pure white. And here is what I wanted to see, one of the tips of a guard hair, and it's a dark tip, very narrow taper. And here that is compared with some of the bobcat hairs that I have saved in my journal. Pretty close match. Here's a look in my journal. I noticed in the bobcat hairs, the guard hairs have a little black tip, and they're mostly a light buff color. And the under fur is kind of a buff tawny to gray. And here's a comparison of the hair I found with some hairs of desert cottontail. And it looks like the cottontail hairs, the hairs are mostly a darker, like a kind of a brown. Some of them have the black tip, but I don't see any of those thin little kind of white underfurs. In my journal, I see that the underfur of the cottontail is this kind of dark gray. And the rabbits also have that kind of dark light banding on the hairs. And I have this brush rabbit fur to compare with as well, but that's from Del Norte County, so I don't know which one is going to be closer to the brush rabbits here. Here's a gray fox to compare it to as well, but their hair just looks like long, gray, mostly gray, and pretty thick too, much thicker than the bobcat hairs. So, assuming those hairs were from the animal that ran away, that's what a jay sounds like when alarming at a bobcat. A constant call from a low perch.